Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to the Fairy Amazon Challenge in The Sims 4. We are following the reign of Queen Supriya Reed Daisy, who has recently celebrated the birthday of Lady Kayla. Now that she's an adult, wisdom may be guiding her to subdue her envy of the Summer Council's position. And it seems as though she's found another alternative to being in the Queen's good graces. Because if Bren's relationship with Katerina can get her on the council, then why can't Kayla's flirtations with the Queen? We are starting off by taking a look at Lady Bren's fairy abilities because she has ranked up to Glimmering. She is on the council right now, so she can get some manipulation stuff. So we're going to get her shift luck and then shift another's luck. And I had a look at all of her relationships. I mostly see green bars, so she is going to get the embrace relationship changes, which has more of a positive connotation. So there we go. And guys, I realized that when I wrote the rules for Fairy Amazon, I had something about factions, the harmonious path or the discordant path, and I don't know why I had thought in the beginning that once you reach a certain stage of fairy rank you get a choice to be one or the other, but I had a look at it like today. I searched it up because I was kind of curious. We've been playing for so long and I haven't seen anything about it. Apparently your fairies just become one or the other depending on the powers that they use and basically the choices that they make. I'm not entirely sure how it works. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments because I'm still kind of confused about all of that. If that is the case, like if it is not a choice, I'm gonna have to work something else out for factions in the next gen. Like I might just have to completely disregard the discordant and harmonious path in the game, and I'm gonna have to make it into something else that the fairies decide when they become maybe adults. I'll have to think about this. I might even initiate the change in this season, like in this generation. I'm not entirely sure because none of the ladies have picked a path or a faction for themselves. What I might end up doing, if that is the case, if I can't get a good enough understanding of how the harmonious and discordant paths work, or I'm unsatisfied with my type of gameplay, what I might do is when Crown Princess Lynette has her birthday, on that day, we will basically decide the factions for all of the adult and young adult fairies. And from then on, I'll make it so that every time a new fairy enters court, or maybe when they have a birthday, maybe whatever becomes their next birthday in court, they'll basically decide a faction. Yeah. I could do that with Kayla now because she just had her birthday, make it so that we kind of do factions. But I wanna give it a few episodes so that maybe you guys can help me out. But I'll see. If I'm not satisfied with the way the in-game mechanic works, I might just make it a thing during Lynette's birthday, and then from then on, every time a fairy has their birthday, like the first birthday they have in the court, in the main court, we'll make them choose a faction. Because it makes sense that you would give them kind of time to basically get an idea of what the factions are, and then they make their choice on an important day like their birthday. So I'm sorry for the huge ramble, but I feel like it's kind of important for us to get out of the way because it does impact our influence system, and I feel like we should kind of make use of it if possible. We are picking up at 6 a.m. on Thursday, bright and early, with Vivian and Katerina having a sword fight. I have noticed that Katerina spends a lot of time with Vivian. Does she have a good relationship with her? She has good compatibility with Vivian. I think she has oh, never mind. She doesn't have any sort of compatibility with Titania. So Titania kind of sticks close to Vivian, and Vivian sticks close to her mother, which is kind of nice. But look at them! They're always together, like always. But I want to go and I want to do some whims for our ladies. Also, can I just say, I love the fact that after our Royal Archery contest, I am noticing a lot more of our ladies actually use the archery yard or the training yard, and I kind of feel as though they got a little bit of a wake-up call when Brant suddenly won. And they have been trying to hone their skills ever since then, so that's kind of nice. But okay, Vivian. Vivian wants to eat some snacks. She is a bit of a glutton and she loves enjoying life. She's, I think, a little bit oblivious to things. Kind of how Lynette was when Lynette was younger. But let's see, do we have any snacks that we might be able to get from here? Let's see. These are some interesting things. We have some new stuff that I don't think I have seen before. Interesting. What's this? Start with a cup of very strong coffee, add custard made of condensed milk and whipped egg yolk, and out comes a Vietnamese drink that feels a bit like dessert in a cup. Okay, I do not know how to pronounce that, but I am gonna get her to snack on that because that kind of sounds nice. Okay, she's gonna go snack. Yeah, she's just thinking about the enjoyment of life and how good things are for them and their family. Let's replace that. That's an interesting drink. So that's like coffee, condensed milk, egg yolk. Fascinating. Is she having fun? I can't tell. The drink kind of looks like her right now though, with the brown corset and her golden hair. Okay, so she had a nice drink. I don't think she's thinking too deeply about anything right now. I don't think she is. Also, I did notice in the last episode that Vivian, she was kind of hanging out with Prince Uther and they were chatting with each other quite a bit, which is kind of nice. And you know how I say that Vivian is very loyal to Lynette. That is the case. And I'm kind of using the amount of friendship they have with each other to gauge whether or not Vivian thinks the same way about Uther, or how closely she holds their relationship, or whether or not she has an issue with Uther's betrothal. And yes, in the last episode she did not. But guys, she has been spending time with him, so I'm kind of curious. She has a 93 friendship with Uther, and she has an 86 with Lynette. So maybe initially Vivian thought she didn't have a problem and things were quite clear for her. But perhaps she was using the feelings she had as a child and the way things had always been between them to dictate how things were going to be between them. But now they're a little bit older, they're getting exposed to new types of feelings, and maybe things are not exactly as they seemed. And now that the realization has settled in that he is betrothed to Lynette, there's like a different feeling when she interacts with him now, and she can see that she is his first choice. And wouldn't that weigh you down? If you did have a good friendship with someone, you'd see the good qualities in them, and if they recognize those qualities in you, wouldn't you think to yourself, am I missing out on something? Could there have been something between us? I don't know. I think, guys, Vivian is starting to maybe see the cracks in her resolve. That is so interesting though. And one of you lovelies made a really good point about how, unlike the vampires, the fairies are not nearly as dramatic, but we have a lot that's kind of simmering. The drama is simmering, which I really like. It speaks of emotional stability, which is a completely foreign concept with our vampires, because things go from 0 to 100 with them. So it's kind of nice. It's a nice change of pace. Okay, moving on to Lynette, who is apparently wanting to sleep. She wants to chat with Dustin. And Dustin is the father of Vivian and Titania. Where is he? Dustin, can we invite you over? It is the morning. We're gonna try and invite him over and talk to him. I wonder if Lynette maybe noticed that Uther and... I mean, she doesn't have that high of an opinion of Uther, so I don't think she would necessarily take issue with Uther and Vivian's friendship. But I wonder if... Is he coming? Yeah. I wonder if she noticed during the birthday party that they were hanging out together quite a bit and they seemed really close. And she could maybe see that Vivian was telling her that there's nothing between them. But maybe Vivian doesn't realize how conflicted she actually is. I think Lynette noticed some of that. And Vivian, you stink, you need to go take a bath. But I think Lynette maybe wants to talk to Dustin to see if Dustin would have an idea about Vivian's true feelings. Let's chat with him, if possible. I guess attempt introduction? But maybe that's why she wants to talk to Dustin. She's never really apparently interacted with him, but I think she knows that her friendship with Vivian is making Vivian mask her feelings a little bit. And at this point in time, I don't think Lynette would have an issue, because she doesn't feel as though she and Uther are a good match. So maybe she's gonna find this to be kind of the ideal excuse for them to not work out. So okay, she's talking to Dustin. Titania is over here. Maybe she's wanting to ask both of them. Like, does Vivian, did you notice the way Vivian was at the party? Does she seem a certain way? Yeah, and Titania, I think, is not quite sure what her sister thinks because she hasn't had that discussion with her. She could tell something was on Vivian's mind when they were sword fighting earlier, but I don't think, without being clear on that, she would expose her sister's thoughts to Lynette, because she is loyal to Lynette, but at the same time, I think Titania and Vivian have a stronger bond with each other. Okay, Queen Supriya, meanwhile, wants to listen to Winter Holiday music. So we're gonna send her up, and she is gonna do exactly that. Let's listen to, change to Winter Holiday. Okay, Winter Holiday music. Excellent. Also, do we have everyone here in court? Try and get them all in court. Okay, Supriya. Oh wait, I changed, but I didn't get it to listen. I'll send her up. I'll send her up, and then she can listen to this. But Supriya, I think is feeling... She's feeling kind of flirty, guys, and nice. She really, really admired the way Kayla looked after her birthday, and Kayla's demeanor changed towards her a little bit more recently during the archery contest. She had some flirtationship going on with Brent, now Kayla, and she's feeling pretty good. I think in Supriya's mind, a lot of things are falling into place in her life. It seems as though things with Lynette are going smoothly, and now things with basically the court members she thought were going to be a problem because they had an issue with the summer council, they suddenly are changing their tune and being really nice to her. So everything is really good, which is why she's kind of wanting to just enjoy the music. And one of you lovelies made a really good point about Kayla and Brant. You were saying that Kayla and Brant, because they think that Brant got a position due to her romance with Katarina, maybe they're changing tactics and they're thinking that if they can have some sort of relationship with the queen, then that's going to be their ticket into the next council. Maybe that's their whole approach to this, and that's why suddenly they are being really flirty with Supriya. So I think that's maybe what's going on over here, which is very, very fascinating to me. You also made a good point about Supriya's relationship with Jadis and why it might be strained. You were saying that it kind of makes sense that the royal family want to present a united front, and Supriya herself has never said out loud that she doesn't have a lot of confidence in Lynette. Even though she was closer with Jadis, she still expected Jadis to support her sister being the heiress, in public. But Jadis, in her own little way, is kind of retaliating and not really supporting Lynette. She's kind of challenging her. She's trying to basically like squeeze in where Lynette is supposed to be doing his stuff. And that's the reason for friction between Supriya and Jadis, and the difficult dynamic is because Jadis doesn't like how things are changing in their family, doesn't like how Lynette is coming into her own. She always thought that Lynette would never amount to anything and she would have to take over at some point, but that's clearly not the case. Even though Supriya thought Jadis would make a better heiress, she has not given up on Lynette. And I think that's the issue and the point of contention. And interestingly enough, if we look at Supriya's friendships or her relationships, actually, let me just jump over to family. She has an 86 friendship with Lynette, and she has a 63 with Jadis. So even though in Lynette's childhood, Supriya thought Jadis was a more natural sort of leader, she's been guiding Lynette and seeing the effort Lynette puts into her role. And I think Supriya now actually believes that Lynette is the better heiress. And she's kind of put herself behind that. And Jadis sees this change and Jadis doesn't like it. So that's very, very interesting. Brent, meanwhile, wants to admire art. Okay, I think Brant is going to go to the gallery and she is going to admire the memories of the court. This is wild. I'm thinking about this now. But guys, the first portrait in the clinic, it's Brant and Supriya. It's when Supriya was a noble. She wasn't a queen at that time. That is so wild. That is so wild. She was not a queen at that time. And then the next one is of Supriya when she was a queen and the ghost of Queen Justin. Now we had a third painting that was made, and that third painting I think was of Utha and Jadis, but for some reason it glitched out and it became a blank canvas, and I tried making copies and stuff and resetting it and it would not work. I had to get rid of it, which is unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. But we have at least these two portraits, or paintings, and I'm happy about that because it captures an interesting time in the fairy court. And, you know, with the shorts that I've been doing, because they're from the earlier videos in the series, I am realizing things that I forgot about, like the fact that Supriya had a hard time adjusting when Justin was queen. And she was a little bit more closed off. She was kind of jealous of the others. She was jealous of Katerina and Brant because they had such a close relationship or a good relationship with Justin, and Supriya couldn't find a way to get in. But she didn't know how to speak up. And I completely forgot about that because when she became queen, she kind of accepted that with so much grace and she came into her own. She was a stronger queen than Justin was. So I kind of forgot that she had a moment, or like she had a time of insecurity and not kind of feeling as though she was amounting to anything. But that's wild. And where is this fire? Oh, there's a fire. There's a fire in the queen's chamber. Children, I hope you stay away from the fire's path because, as we have discovered with Vivian and Titania, you can die in the fire. Children can die. Okay, please leave the premises. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, these guys are coming in. Is anyone going to put the fire out? Do we have any brave souls who are going to put the fire out? No? And now we have Garden Blight. Okay. The Queen's chambers are on fire. I don't think we have anyone in here. Is anyone in the fairy house? I don't think so. Everyone is out. Okay. That might not be a good omen. The fact that the Queen's chambers are on fire. I don't know why this is happening. The Queen has been feeling quite blissful. This might be a sign from, I don't know, her nature spirit, someone's nature spirit, that all is not well. Don't fall under the false assumption that things are going smoothly. Someone is going to be an issue. Maybe that's what the nature spirits are trying to say. Oh my goodness. But I had Katarina's whim still to do. Now this fire has decided to sidetrack us. And I don't know when this fire is going to go out. I really, really don't. Is it just going to fizzle out, or is it going to keep trailing a path? It's going to keep trailing a path until it burns like most everything down. Oh my goodness. Well, while the fire does its thing, let's jump over to Katarina. Katarina wants to go swimming. Okay, the fire has finally gone out. Let's send Katarina swimming. It's burnt a bunch of things in the Queen's Chamber, which we're going to have to tend to in a second. But she's going to go swim. And Katarina, I don't think... You know what? I was just about to say that it has been a long time since the fire that was here by this lamppost. The fire where... Was it Vivian or Titania? I don't know which daughter it was. One of the daughters was scared they were going to die for a second. It's been a while. Things have been going so smoothly since then that it's become a distant memory. But I wonder if this latest fire in the Queen's Chambers, it might have jogged Katarina's memory and reminded her that don't become complacent, don't forget that everyone is watching, and things can turn around very, very quickly. I think that would have given her a bit of a scare, because someone's nature spirit is not happy, and that's why the freak fire happened. And I think she would feel very, very, maybe uncomfortable and tensed over the fact that she thought her daughters were safe. That might not entirely be the case, but even if it's not her daughters, it happened in the Queen's Chamber. Like, who was this aimed towards? If it's not her daughters, she's still a council member, she's still a counselor, she has to think about the safety of the Queen and the royal family as well. So, there's a lot of things to consider here. And with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.